Hello everyone, welcome to this TEPPEN update. My name is Nintendo and I'm happy to showcase this balance changes, and with me is a very special guest, Mr. James Chen.
Hello, how's everybody going out there?
Not many of you know, but back in my days as growing up when I used to watch a lot of Street Fighter games, James Chen was the voice of reason, and I just enjoyed listening to his commentary, sir. It's lovely having you with me for this, and I'm happy that you're here. And I know it's very late, but apparently you're awake as hell. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 2 a.m. over here, but that's normal uptime for me. I usually don't go to sleep till like 5 or 6 anyway, so it's all good.
It's all good. Alright, so balance changes for TEPPEN have just dropped. We've gone over this in our chats. Some are good, some are bad. One of the balance changes really didn't do anything for a card. Really specifically, one of them really didn't do anything, but some decent changes. Actually, 2 cards, but let's go over this, and we sort of can go from here. We committed.
I mean, overall, how do you feel about it? You know,
I like some of these changes, but some of them, I don't know. They didn't really hit the mark as much as I want them to, but some of them are like, okay, that's a fair change. Like, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Let's see. So we are committed to encouraging wide variety of useful decks and strategies. I don't know. From this, it feels like Shinku Hadouken is just gonna roll over everyone.
Oh my god, yeah.
From the way things are changing, it just feels like, hey, Ryu, the poster boy.
I mean, Shinku was getting really, really strong, even kind of towards the end, you know, of this season, and now I just feel like there's very little that's going to be standing in the way of it. But we'll see how this goes. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Let's have a look at these changes. So the cards that were affected were Ashley Graham, Trump Card, X, Killer Bee, Strike Cammy, Devil Hunter, V the Mysterious One, Exposed Evil Eye, Mavericks Memories, Hatred Reborn, Astalos, and Warped Research Instinct. By the way, they changed a basic card, which was hilarious. So,
which one's the basic card again?
Was the purple card, the memory one.
Okay. That
was the basic. So first change was Ashley, Ashley Graham. So, before she was an MP3 with an attack of 2 HP 5. She can't attack, and she, while in the field, enhances damage dealing effects for action cards and friendly units by +1. Now, the only change was an MP increase of 1, and it still does the exact same thing. I didn't really like this change. If they reduced her HP, fine. I would have been okay with it. But
I feel like this change is kind of weirdly lazy, and then also at the same time, you know, making it a 4 MP kind of protects it from the cards that can only do stuff to like 3 MP cards, right?
No, she's still in line. I think she's in line to still get hit by a lot of things, but
Oh yeah, but I mean, I would have rather have seen it that either her attack go down, because 2/5 is still a pretty good meat shield. Or have her hit points go down just so she can die a little faster, you know?
Yeah, like, it's... You want to say a lazy change, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
The easiest way to fix a lot of the cards is to increase their MP, right? And, of course, ironically, the one card that I really wanted them to increase the MP for, they didn't, but they fixed it in other ways. We'll get to that.
I know which one. And
yeah.
I like the change. Don't worry. Yeah. I like the change after we really went over it, but yeah. Overall, look, it's not much of a change, but at least she costs 4 now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's gonna be a little bit, I guess, harder, but at the same time, you know, for Denjin decks, you know, she's like the only unit you ever place anyway, and so theoretically, now when you place her, since you're not playing very many units on the board overall, I mean, you get technically kind of 1 extra AP, and now Denjin costs a little less. But like I said, we'll get to that one a little bit later as well. So,
we'll get there.
You know, it's kind of like a weird buff nerf. I mean, it feels like a lateral change. To me, honestly, it doesn't feel like it's really one way or the other, because it's not like Denjin decks are rushing to play like 7 Ashleys, you know, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's just...
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's 3 hers, 3 Codys, and a Leon. That's generally the units Denjin will pick.
Mm-hmm.
With the change to Denjin, it may change up a couple things. Iowa thinks that it's a little bit some people think it's a nerf. But we'll get to it when we get to it, so yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to go over it again. But moving on, so next one is Trump Card. Before it was a 1 cost to remove your entire deck for 7 MP, now it's a 3 cost to remove your entire deck for 7 MP.
Okay.
It's basically removed it from dual color decks, but still in a mono red, it's fine.
Right. I mean, you can still play it in a dual deck, right? I mean, you're still going to. Oh, that's true. What's the order of action, right? Is it going to spend the 3 and then give you the 7, or is it?
It will have to spend this 3 first, then give the 7.
Right. So in other words, you're gonna just have 5 no matter what, basically, right? Afterwards.
It was easy at 1 to spend it, so...
Yes, of course.
An MP3 is not good for dual decks, but for like a monocolor, yeah, you have to spend that extra 2 MP for this card, so... you can't just wait till 3 MP and go, bang, trump card or something.
It's just interesting to me because, when I saw that it was targeted, everybody was surprised because it was like the only brand new card just came out, and they were nerfing it already, but... To be honest with you, this nerf is so whatever. I think that it doesn't really change much. So I think I don't think this one is gonna change much at all. And if it's still a problem, I guess they'll nerf it again. But we'll see.
We'll have to see. I don't know personally if this is a good or bad change to the card, but I don't play red enough to utilize trump card. But I think I did. I mean, I didn't mind trump card at 1 cost. I was like, all right, I'm out of options, trump card, but. I think the MP3 is a fine change, to be truthfully enough. Like, I don't see much of a difference. You're still gaining everything from it, so...
Right, exactly. So the end result is the same, right?
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit more to play, but that's just the thing, is because it's such an end game card and you play it and you either win or lose at that point in time, it's, like I said, whether you had to spend 1 MP or 3 MP for it, like... I'm not sure if it's that big of a difference. Obviously, it's nice because you can't just spam it at the end whenever. As soon as you get 1, oh my god, here we go, kind of thing. But is it going to make a huge difference that it takes a little bit longer to play it if you happen to be at 0? If you have it in your hand and you're thinking about using it, I think you're kind of already saving MP anyway, Like, I don't think people ever get to the point where they have 0 MP and they're desperate to play trump card. Like, I feel like you're setting up for it ahead of time anyway.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how the meta goes with trump card and see if it really does anything. We could be wrong, but I don't know if it does much, but I don't think it really did. Moving on is X. This is a good change. Before it was MP4, TAC 2, HP5, Resonate, plus 1 HP to all friendly units. Busted. Now it's give all other friendly units 1 HP. It no longer stupidly buffs itself, so that's a good fair change.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because this was the change that we had all kind of predicted that it was going to be.
Yeah, it's true,
so
we did.
Now if you have 2 X's, now they're not just going to completely spiral out of craziness, and X won't get the charge shot buffs if there's only 1 X on the field. You have to heal it yourself to give it any sort of extra attack. So I do like the change. The thing that I'm worried about was that if they were going to make this change, what were they going to do to charge shot?
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough when we get to charge shot, because
that was my worry, and I'm a little worried.
I'll just say this: just stick to feline. It's probably best.
Yeah,
I'd say stick to feline.
Poor X. Anyway,
R.I.P. I'll put something here. R.I.P. X. We miss you.
Yeah.
Alright, Killer Bee Strike Cami. So, pretty dope ass card, but pretty dumb effect before. MP5, attack 2, HP5, anti-air. And memory 4, +1/+1 for each action card in your hand and X pocket. Memory 7, heavy pierce and agility. Now, she loses the memory 4, but when played, she gains the +1/+1 for each action card in your X pocket, and at memory 7 gains the heavy pierce and agility. So, the change to Cami is that you can't abuse bringing her back now. She's a one-time play.
Yeah, when played is the big deal right there to gain that. So now Ouroboros or Rebirth or anything like that is not going to give her any of those buffs. So now she's going to be a 2-5 if you bring her back. So even if she shows up with the heavy pierce and the agility, you can definitely take her out, and she's not going to hit you for 8 damage like every single hit. And I mean, let me just put it this way. Everybody knows in the fighting game community that I am a big Cammy fan. Like, I've always been a Cammy fan. She's like my favorite Street Fighter character of all time because I was a low tier hero in Super Turbo. She was bad, so I played her and just grew attached to the character. So I'm all about Cammy. Teppen almost made me hate Cammy because the Killer Bee Strike Cammy decks. Oh man, the salt.
The salt is real.
Nothing you could do about them. But now with this nerf, so this was the card that I kind of wanted them to change to a 6 MP card.
A lot of us did. Yeah, a lot of us did.
That way it just couldn't be used in dual colored decks except for high risk, false throne decks or anything like that. But this change, what I like about it is it makes it so that it's strong for the one-time use as a legendary should be, as opposed to, I get to make 17 Cammies and this just kind of sucks.
So. Do you like a board of 3 Cammies? Because I can do it.
I have had to deal with that before, and you see that and you're just like, okay.
Well, what the hell do I do now? But yeah, it's an honest change, and it's just an honest nerf, and it's just better. Like I like it. And the nice thing about it is it's still a strong card when played at the right time. Yes.
It can still be a scary legend. So if you get it and hold on to it, it's still another one of those late win condition games. But now you're not gonna make a deck with this is the only unit, and it's miserable.
It's alright. It's okay. You can calm down now. The pain is gone. It's something.
And the craziest thing about it too is they put Bombast in the game, which could actually pull this card, right? Because it was like 5 MP or less. So it was like they gave you more ways to pull this card. But now, okay, I'm good with this. So.
Yeah, I'm good with it now. I mean, Cammy was a favorite of mine. It took me a long time to not realize that she's not actually DeCapri.
Yeah, clone. There's a whole story about dolls and clones and stuff in that game. And
when I played Street Fighter V and DeCapri was standing there, I'm like, wait a second. You introduced me, Cammy?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. The Street Fighter story makes no sense, and I just, I just play it for gameplay.
Play it for fun, but I was just like, okay, that confused me. Moving on.
We should probably talk about the next card and Evil Eye at the same time, right?
Yeah, so Accelerated Thought and Evil Eye will come up, but they're pretty much the same thing happened to both Accelerated Thought. So yeah, Accelerated Thought is the basic card that came out for Zero.
Yes.
So before it was an MP4, they gave an MP boost of 20 to your hero. Not many people played it, but it was still played. Now it's just an MP5 to give 20 for 60 seconds. So that kind of really just degrades the card to the point of not really being played.
Yeah, the original cards with Accelerated Thought and Evil Eye were net 0 AP. So if you played it, you burned the card, and that was it. You just gained back exactly what you spent. So they were meant to be used as a response to get the extra MP. However, it turned out that they were just deck thinning. I can just pop this and there's no, it doesn't hurt me in any way because I have the boost, so I'll get the AP back. Yeah. And it was just a good way to build memory and everything. And honestly, look, I think the memory mechanic is kind of what's broken and really needs to be fixed at this point. But obviously they're not doing that just yet.
Slowly with some changes. It's being weaved through. We're seeing stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that can fully make a mechanic not work anymore, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was going to say the interesting thing about these cards now, about Accelerated Thought and Evil Eye, is that they're only good to play in response now. So Evil Eye, we'll get there in a little bit. It's still going to be good if you play in response, but playing them just offhand out of nowhere is basically wasting it. So before you could see decks with like maybe 5 of these cards total, you know, because they're just trying to build the memory. And now I like the fact that they made it negative gain by default. I guess I was expecting it more to be like lowering the seconds, like make it instead of 60 seconds, 50 seconds or something like that. But I guess this worked.
We had ideas where it was just like if you have a unit on the field, that unit is the MP carrier until it dies.
Yeah, that's right.
Or if your hero is hit, they lose the MP gainage. So we had some crazy ideas, which seemed really cool. But I guess an MP increase just kind of also deteriorates the card. So
I mean, my idea was just it doesn't give you AP. It doesn't give you the hero points, you know, so it doesn't charge up your Rakoha, you know, so it can do everything, but you play it, but you don't get the free AP, so you don't get to use it just to build up Rakoha like crazy, you know. That was the other really, really good thing about these cards, because they were zero sum. You could just play, pun not intended, because they were zero sum, that you could just play them and you would build up AP to start board wiping things with Rakoha.
Yeah, no, I get that, but so at least, you know, this is a change. So Evil Eye pretty much got the exact same treatment. When we come across it, we'll get across it, but it just got the exact same kind of treatment. Not much of a difference to it.
3 to 4, basically. 3 to 4 MP.
So that's the mana roll cards there. Next up is Devil Hunter Dante. Before MP6, attack 3 HP 5, agility, resonate, sends this unit to the graveyard to puts Devil Trigger Dante in the previously occupied slot. Now it's exactly the same thing, but when you resonate, he turns into Devil Trigger Dante. So it no longer leaves itself in the graveyard to be abused. So
I mean, we joked about the Kami card. I have fought a deck that got all 3 Dantes on the board.
I've done this.
And just resonated all of them, and I had 3 Devil Hunter Dantes. I mean, it's a dangerous deck. It's very easy to brick. If you get Dante at the beginning of your hand, you're done, because it's a dual color deck. But it's still annoying to fight against, because if he gets the right hand, you just lose. And so I'm super happy with this change. I didn't want this card nerfed in any extra way. I think this is completely fair, and I think that this is deserved. I think this is a deserved, you know, nerf.
Yeah, because Nero and Lucina both just turn into, so they don't leave a copy.
Right.
So this is just like completing the trilogy. It just needed to happen like that. So it's a fair change, not much difference. The Devil Hunter Dante, Devil Trigger Dante is probably still the same, 4/9 with agility, so in flight. Yeah. So he's all good. All right, here's probably one of the big changes everyone was looking for. V, the mysterious one. So MP8, 0 attack, HP 5. Unit can't attack. When you resonate, you randomly place 1 familiar, griffin, shadow, or nightmare on the field. You're just so happy. You hate Griffin.
God, the Griffin.
Chen absolutely hates the bird. I won't lie, I hate the bird too.
Yeah, I mean, if you the worst is when they get 2 birds.
Yeah,
then you're just like, I can't do anything, because you can't block it at the last second because they're flying, and then everything you put on the board is like resonate dead, resonate dead, resonate dead, and you're like,
it's just full free damage on one resonate. But the change is now that it costs 10 MP, still can't attack, 0 attack, 5 HP, and resonate still places Griffin, Shadow, and Familiar. But the nerf is that it costs 10 MP. You can't immediately resonate immediately after placing V. Yeah. You have to do full commit for this card.
This is an interesting change, because it sounds like, okay, so now you've put it to 10, and you know, so now you have to wait before you can resonate, or if the opponent tries to kill it with an action card, you can counter resonate, you know, that kind of thing. To be honest with you, I think this card may be deleted from the game now.
You think so?
Yeah, just by nature of card games, I guess. You know, as I'm learning this, obviously I'm from fighting games. My card game knowledge is very is dodgy, suspect at best. I'm learning though. I'm getting there.
No, that's all right. It's all right. I came from the fighting scene too. Like I grew up on the fighting game scene too before entering cards. And so,
but the problem with V now is that it will never be able to do anything against Shinku Hadouken.
No.
Because red is just going to hold on to Shinku. If you're nerd, you're going to hold on to Spike Launch, and you only need to sacrifice 5 health to be able to murder this card. And so those are unreactable. You can't even get a shield on your card. If you're fighting another Zero who's playing Rakoha with the standard deck, and he gets up to the 4 memory to do 7 damage, you know, everybody's just going to turtle on that. And so what happens is V is not going to work against certain decks, which makes it so that I think he becomes a liability to the point where maybe you're better off putting in Jester instead, or maybe you're better off putting in one of the other guys instead of V now. So it'll be interesting to see if people can figure out a way to still play him, especially because, as you said at the start of this, we predict Shinku is going to become a monster.
This is why.
And if that's the case, V will never see play.
Yeah, because it is a 10 cost, and you can't do anything. You have to wait literally, most actions are 2 costs for purple, and you've got to wait for that 2 mana. And the other person, once they see V, doesn't have to do anything. They can just wait. If they've got a unit on the field, they can just drop something, just to go after
Splash damage, you know, on play damage. Now, the only way that V will work is that if V becomes unpopular enough that people think nobody has V.
Yeah.
So that when they use the Shinku, because they're expecting no V to be there, then you drop it and they're like, oh no.
Uh-oh, there's a V.
Actually have... Yeah.
But yeah, so red can just easily just go, spread damage. They can just go on effect damage and just pop it if they see it. Because it's a full commitment of 10. Because once you drop it, it's like, I hope my opponent activates, then I can activate. Because most likely when that happens, they're just not going to do anything. It's like, okay, you drop V.
And then they're just going to drop, like Jill's just going to drop a Claire in front of it and goodbye card, you know? So, yeah, so for example, you know, Jill can definitely turtle on a Claire to kill after getting 3 explorers. You just turtle on Claire, and then anytime V drops, you're just like Claire, pow. Yeah. And then V is gone. So it'll be interesting. V will be, it's like what they say in fighting games, right? Like the worst ideas become the best ideas at the higher levels because no one's expecting the worst idea anymore. Yeah, I get that. So that's the only way V can still be effective, is if everybody just gets used to no one playing the card, and then you play the card as a surprise, basically.
Well, that's probably what might happen. I mean, I think we might still see V after the patch. Like, some people will still try to give it a try. But the issue is, unless they activate the mana roll cards for purple, and then they drop V at 10, so that they still gain that slightly increased mana, but like it's still so risky to do it because you can't immediately get something for free. So it effectively probably, as you're right, might delete V from the game, but we'll have to see. Don't know for certain.
And I'll tell you this right now, even as a purple stan, I will shed no tears for V being deleted.
That's all right. I'm not going to shed much tears either, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But kudos and good riddance. So next up is Exposed Evil Eye. So as we said, the difference was just an MP increase. So it's just better off playing the MP control cards for purple on responses, not just straight away. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, cool. Next up, Maverick Memories. Now, we all know what happened with Maverick Memories because it was leaked by accident. So it does exactly what the text said before. Destroy a friendly unit and negate an action card with an MP cost of 5 or less at Memory 7. Negate an MP 5 for 2 cost without destroying a friendly unit. So pretty much exactly the same thing. It just no longer can't stop 6's destruction cards.
Yeah, and it requires less memory now, so it's only 7 memory to stop a 5 card. And I mean, I know everybody thought this card was broken. I know everybody hated this card, but I'm actually kind of afraid that this, again, is another card that might get deleted at this point in time because...
I mean, it's not terrible to sack a unit to negate something. I've done it before, like when I was playing her last season zombie with Rakoha, and I was versing a Wesker, and like, okay, I dropped 2 units, and then he immediately goes spreading infection. So I was like, Maverick memories. I just sacked a unit because I didn't care. I was just like, I'll just sack a unit, and then literally he gave up within the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest advantage of that card is that it's only 2 MP, right?
Yeah.
Because there are other cards that have, you know, bigger negates, I think, still out there, but they cost so much. So this one you'll always be able to do in response because it's a 2 cost and just at the sacrifice of your own unit. So it'll still be good. And obviously for things like, you know, if X Hunters can still be effective and then you lane lock and then they negate it, you can still Maverick's memory that, you know, so you'll still be able to use it in situations, but, you know,
we'll have to see.
It's not going to be as scary as it was before, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, 7 memory's not that bad-ish to get to. It's still not the greatest thing, really. Anything usually memory of 7 and up is not worth it. Usually memory 4 to 5 is worth it. But it depends. We'll have to just see what happens, really. I mean, I think it's still okay. I'm not too fussed over the changes, really.
People are probably still going to run it for a while. They'll probably still run it.
Yeah, I'm expecting that. Here's the big change.
Can we play some taps here? No.
So the deck I sent you, have fun with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Have fun with the deck I sent you, because just play it before the changes, but basically, Hatred Reborn, MP2, place a random unit in your graveyard with an MP cost of 3 or less on the field. Now, it places a random unit with an MP cost of 3 or less, still MP2, but inflicted with Seal. I kind of expected that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because when we were going over the changes, and because I knew what was stupid with this was because of the damn deck that we just saw in the tournament, which was just abusing Turtle's power, and just dropping 3 units and bringing back Turtle, or bringing back any 3-cost unit, and just having Red-Black just utilize Turtle to just proc the damage. And that made Turtle so good in that deck for that reason. But if you do this, bringing Turtle back is so not worth it.
Right. I mean, bringing anything... I mean, the Astalos is no longer worth it.
Nope.
Turtle's no longer... Gate is no longer worth it. And,
I mean, you can... Gate can be, maybe, depending. Like, the 2/7 Gate. I don't know about the other two. The 2/5 Gate, no. Like, I always think it's still okay, basically for 2 costs to bring back any of the 3s or whatever.
Yeah.
Just that they just have effects.
For meat shield kind of purposes, you know.
But now I'm just thinking, you know what? Now this is perfect for Panda.
Yeah, we talked a little bit beforehand of this, you know, this conversation, and you had mentioned that, like, well, now we're gonna see like some crazy green-black deck that's just gonna bring Panda back, and 4/8 sealed doesn't drain your, and it has nothing else. It only has a negative effect. Yeah, and so it's gonna be.
It's a good card. This is the first card I've seen that's got a bad effect that you want to get rid of.
Right.
And I'm all about like aggressive burn decks, like back in Yu-Gi-Oh! All about negating all these effects that were terrible, but you got an amazingly powerful unit for such a low cost. But its effect is what pulled it back. And so Bamboo Pandemonium, decrease your MP charge by speed by 30% while on the field. You bring this boy back.
I mean, look, I was already mad enough that Ivy Trap you could cast on yourself to remove that problem from Panda, but now this.
Yeah, man, this just makes it easier for you to drop a 3 Panda on the field for 2 at 4/8, and then you buff that Panda with some black stuff. My God, Panda's good.
Because the craziest thing about it is, if you have a layer on the board, or if you have an Iris on the board, and then you drop Panda, you're still at a net 0 of MP cost, so it's not like you're hurting.
Nah.
But now, you can do that, and if it dies, you bring it back with Hatred Reborn. There are going to be some scary green-black decks that are going to rely on Panda. The only good news is that Panda is a 3. So it'll be easy to destroy, easy to bounce, you know, those kind of things. But I don't know. We'll see. Because, like I said, if you bounce it... Well, I guess if you bounce it, then it's no longer sealed, right? So that would actually...
Actually, yeah. So if you did bring this back with Hatred Reborn, and they return to your hand, it's effectively got its effect back because it's in your hand.
Yeah. Okay. So bouncing it would still be a good idea then. Okay.
So bouncing is still always effective. I think I've done it before. Like I've brought something back and they bounced it, and it still had its effect back. I think one time it was a zombie, which already had its effect. I'm like, okay, zombie back on the field. But yeah, that's the change to Hatred Reborn. I think it kills the red-black zombie, but it might still work. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think the zombie rush is the zombie rush meta, because that's probably the most successful deck I've had this season. I started with I've been playing mostly Kyle P's Shinku Hadoken zombie rush deck, and then 2 seasons ago that I used the Zero zombie deck, and I got super high ranked up there and everything. But I've been doing really well with the zombie rush meta because it's fast, it's good for chump blocking, and I don't know why I like meat shielding everything. It's my biggest weakness in the game. Instead of trying to challenge at other lanes and stuff, I'm always like block, and I need to stop doing that. But that made the zombie rush deck work because a lot of the things had revenge. Every time things died, you get an MP boost, and so it worked out that way. But with this change here, I mean, I'm gonna have to run something. Either that or I'll run the Pandemonium deck.
I'll build it, but it's got to be black green now. Like it's got to focus on Panda and some other stuff. I'll have to see how to make it work. Really, I mean, Panda's the best thing to basically bring back now with this.
Yeah, you would basically have to build a deck with no other 3 units except for Panda to make sure that's the only thing that comes back with Hatred Reborn. So it would be a tricky deck to build, but I think it's possible. I think there's a potential for something pretty sick with that. So.
Oh yeah, no, Agile, man, Agile in this when the Pandemonium is going to be good because Agile can just sack it, and you want it to go to the graveyard.
Oh, you mean the right? But the thing is, then if Agile dies and then you Hatred Reborn it and pull the Agile, then you lose the wait, was Agile 3 or 4?
Agile is a 3 cost.
It is a 3, right? Yeah. Okay. So if you drop it then. And then you Hatred Reborn the Agile back.
Yeah, then you're gonna describe. So that's why you got to make sure Agile always ascends.
Right. Well, once you bring it back, it seals, and so you won't be able to use it again, right? So even if it has the revenge down there, and if it gets pulled back, it will lose its revenge ability, right? Because you can't even ascend with it.
Agile's wasted if you drop it on the field, unless you're Akuma.
Right.
Yeah, but, so it has to always ascend to go back into the deck.
Let's say you ascend a Panda, and then that card dies, and then you play a Hatred Reborn, but it pulls Agile instead of pulling Panda.
No, it won't, because Agile will go back into the deck after it ascends.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't go into the graveyard. You're right. Okay. You're right. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay.
I mean, I'm just looking at some of the black cards that you would generally run for this type of deck. And look, it could still work, but you just got to be a little more cautious, I guess.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the cards, I'm just looking at them and I'm liking, okay, gotta be some ways around this, but I think there is. Alright, moving on. Now, here's a nerf you loved, Astalos.
Oh, dude, I just lost to an Astalos today, and so I'm so happy that this card is getting nerfed into oblivion because I'm so sick of this card. Alright,
so Astalos was an MP3 with an attack of 1, HP 5, flight. When played, you sack 3 life, and every time you resonate, he gains +1 attack. Now, it's an MP3, still 1 attack, HP 5, flight. When played, still sacrifices 3 life, but when you resonate, it's only effective for 1 attack.
Yeah.
That's a massive nerf.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, the nice thing about it is, I mean, you can obviously still get it all the way up to like a 5 damage or something like that with, attack buffs and things like that. So you can still buff it with other things that will still keep the damage there, right? Because it's not gonna, for example, like if you resonate it 3 times and then play a Talbane on it to give it attack 6, once it hits, it'll go back to 3 instead of 1. So it'll still be pretty decent, but the fact that
I don't know, like
you can't just keep building it forever and ever and just have it sit there and just destroy everything. So I'm
like
fine with that.
Like the answer now is why play this when I can just play Crow?
Crow, right? Yeah, that's true. That's true because Crow also has the revenge on it, right?
No. Crow is just simply the same thing. Crow has got flight, it sacrifices when played, and it's just 2/5.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, man, it's been a long time since I've actually used Crow.
Crow's a good card. Like Crow's a really good card for 3 costs for flight.
Yeah, you're right. So it's the exact same thing, except it permanently has 2 damage.
Yeah.
And so you might as well just buff that up with the Talbane or whatever if you have a green black deck. So yeah.
That's it. Like, yeah, this is a pretty this is deleted Astalos, I think.
The only way, trying to think if there's any kind of tricky way that you might be able to make it work, like maybe try to play a purple black deck with Ebony and Ivory so that it gains 2 attacks with every resonant. I don't know. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it probably at this point.
It's
but
really
like I
not
said,
worth it.
this is another card that I'm not going to shed any tears for.
Yeah, so bye-bye Astalos. It was fun while it lasted, I guess, for however long it was, really. We will not miss you, but it is a kind of a really that's just like you killed the card.
Yeah.
Oh well, we move on. So the other next one is Warped Research Instinct. So this is basically the same thing as Hatred Reborn. So this one was at Memory 4, you could bring another unit to the field with an MP cost of 3. So it basically was Hatred Reborn, but you could do 3, but you had to get a Memory 4. Now it still does the exact same thing, but now it just inflicts seal.
Right. And this card with Panda is going to be terrifying because if you get that 4 memory and you play this and it brings in 2 4/8 units.
Hey, 2 pandas.
Have fun.
I got 2 4/8s on the field, and while I'm at it, I might as well utilize, what card is it? Bloodbath Frenzy, and just buff these 2 pandas.
Because the craziest thing about it is, like, even if you played an evasive action on it, it goes back to 4/8.
It goes 4/8. It's its original stats, which is amazing.
Right. It's not like Nero that if you reset it goes to 0/4, right? Like this pandas are 4/8. That's it. So it's terrifying. It's scary. Oh boy. I think I am gonna try to build this panda deck. I think I'm gonna try.
Awesome. I think the patch goes live on the 2nd next month, so within just the next 3 days or something, I think so. So only a couple of days left to run the ladder and do what you can. So I think tomorrow's stream, when I do stream TEPPEN, I'll run as much as I can the ladder, and I'll assume I can talk to some people over the patches because I know some people want to talk about it.
Oh.
But yeah, that's Warped Research Instinct. It's same thing as Hatred Reborn. So fair, fine, but man, does this make... I mean, if they're going to do future card releases where they got really shitty effects but amazing stats, I kind of like this idea.
They have to think about it very carefully now if they want to create any of those decks. Oh, any of those units anymore. Yeah, exactly.
Alright, this is the change that I thought was why, really? It didn't really do much. So, Innocent Desire Lilith, MP6, attack 1, HP 8. Flight and growth is 3. At level 2, deal 3 damage and gain life. At level 3, deal 5. At level 4, deal 7. And you always gain the HP. Now, the only change was she got an increase of attack +1.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw that this card was going to be on the balance list, at first I was like, what? You're going to nerf this card? Like, nobody really used this card anyway. But now a lot of people are like, I bet you they're buffing it. And I was like, huh. And then sure enough, here it is and buffed. And I mean, I guess it's cool because I feel like, potentially purple is losing 2 legendaries, I mean, yeah, Maverick's memories might still be useful, but, V might be gone now. But this card here, the thing about it is I don't even know if it needed a buff, because they gave purple that action card that increases your growth. They actually gave purple a +3 growth action card. Because one of the toughest things about this card is if you played it and then you played a 3 and then a 3, you had no more slots open to grow it anymore. But now you can actually just play that action card and grow it. So,
well, the problem was that she had a really bad attack, and she still has a very bad attack.
yeah.
Like, the common thing for a lot of cards is that you want them to have a decent attack with a good HP. She's got an amazing HP. Her
Right.
attack is still bad. She can still die to murderous spikes.
right.
So,
yeah.
like, if they gave her an increase of, like, say, 3 attack or 4 attack for an MP6, she would be good, because then it'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna play this card because I can then. It's not hard to growth her, and then you got, like you said, the growth card. But her attack is still bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, just it's. I mean, there's so many legendaries out there. That's when they drop. A lot of times you're like, oh God, what do I do? What do I do? And this one is it's just not one of them.
No, it's not.
Unfortunately,
If her attack was like a threat, and then you're like, uh-oh, she's on the field, and they're gonna drop a unit to growth her, and now they got the growth thing, like, she would be really good, but because her attack is just not that threatening, it's just like, okay, the black would be like, here's murderous spikes.
because I mean, then if you tried to even meat shield it, you would actually be taking a significant amount of damage. Things would die a lot faster too. But
If the attack was there, if they gave her agility, I'd be okay with that.
Oh, interesting.
If she got agility as well, then she'd actually be considered a threat, because she's coming in fast.
Yeah,
And you can start
especially
growthing
with
her,
that.
with her effects.
I mean, the other Lilith card has agility.
Yeah, I know, the other one does.
Oh,
And the reason for change was improve unit performance by adjusting the attack. Nah, wasn't really much of an adjustment. I feel like if that's the reason, it should have gotten agility at least, or maybe rush or some. I don't know. I think agility more. So if I got agility, then I would definitely be seeing play for this card, because then I'd be like, all right, she's got agility. She can sort of stay on the field for a bit. She's a nuisance to them for 2 attack every time. I could start putting level 3s.
Maybe you even give it spillover or something, so it does 1 damage to neighbors or something, but at least it could eliminate shields and poke at things. I don't know. Yeah, it probably needed one more little tiny thing.
One more little tiny thing, but oh well. What are you gonna do about that? But yeah, alright, that's all the cards. Now we're on to the hero arts. Okay, first major change was Denjin. Before, Denjin cost 22, plus 2 damage to friendly units and cards in your hand and X pocket. Now it's an AP cost of 15. Enhances damage dealing effects for cards in your hand, X pocket, and friendly units by +1.
Yeah, this one is not bad.
This is an interesting change. Yeah.
This was the most surprising one for me. This is the most surprising. I thought they were just going to either make it so it doesn't stack, or they were just going to be mean and make it so that it was like 26 AP or something like that, But I mean, to get the same effect as you did before, you need 30 AP. So they did kind of hurt it a lot in that way. But you can play it earlier, and now it's less about trying to maximize, surprise attack or headshot or things like that. But now you want to play it along with units so that the units can actually do extra damage. It's going to change Denjin a lot. It's not going to be about the direct hero damage cards only anymore, because with all of the, think about that. If you played an explorer deck with this Denjin, and then now you have a Claire that comes in for 7 damage to the card in front of it.
Ooh, I never thought about trying to actually consider this deck with explorer now.
Yeah, so you could, or just any of those things. Like Cody now with Memory 4 is going to come in and do 5 damage. Sheva is going to come in and do 4 damage. So there's going to be a lot of interesting. I like it because Denjin only worked with that strategy, the no units, only Ashley, and just damage the hero directly. I feel like this kind of gives it a little bit more variety. So yeah, I'm down with it. I'm down with this change. I like it.
I like the change. I mean, I was still trying to wrap my head around, wait, so it costs less now? I was like, wait, how's that helping? But and I looked at that, okay, it takes 30 to do what it needs to do. It's still going to stack, I guess. I guess you can still try to technically rush it down, but yeah, I definitely want to see how this changes the Denjin meta, like, if they throw in more units.
Because, like, can you imagine playing this guy with Hellbats and now your detonates all do 7 damage? You know, that if you have them in your hand and you manage to Denjin them, they're going to do 7 damage. You get the Explorers, then, like I said, then you just start popping Clairs everywhere, and they're just, like, killing everything for 7 damage. I mean, it's a free Shinku Hadouken that you just like Shinku, you can't react to it. You're just going to be sitting there with your 7 HP card, you're like, haha, and then Claire's just gonna be like, pow, and you're gonna be like, oh no, this is not cool.
Ooh, that's pretty mean. Yeah, I could definitely see some changes. Well, after this, I'd like to see the idea of this, throwing in some Explore units, and then, yeah, getting Claire with that plus. Just doing 7 damage on play. Yeah. That's still kind of freaking busted. On play damage effects is still broken as hell, to be truthfully honest. I mean, damn. Yeah. They hurt.
I mean, you talk to Chopstick, and that's his absolute most hated mechanic is the on-play damage, the unreactable damage, and I don't blame him. It's annoying.
I remember when I first started playing, I was like, when I started playing Ryu and I was learning all the stuff and I was playing Rathalos, and after some time, within the first 3 months of me playing, I was like, you know, I hate on-damage effects. I hate Ryu. I was just like, I hate this.
When it started, it was like, hi, I'm, Sean, and I do 1 damage, and I'm this card, and I do, 2 damage. Whee! And now they're just, completely, power creeped it, now, if you have this card here, and you play this card, it triggers this card, and then you just have, board wipes all over the place. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I think that the combo is basically, I drop Rashid in the middle, I'll wait a bit. Oh, here's BB Hood, and here's Sheva. Look at that. Yeah. That's 10 damage. You can't stop.
Oh, God.
So what are you going to do? I was like, I'm thinking, what the hell? That's retarded.
I mean, like you said, Shinku is probably just going to run rampant this next season because the on-damage stuff is not getting nerfed. And he's still going to be super effective, so...
No, guess I'm going to have to pick up my Ryu deck and really play it properly now. God damn it. Alright.
This next one is one that I was actually worried about, despite the fact that everybody knows I hate green. I was still worried about this, and I'm still kind of sad about this one. Charge Shot.
I'm a little sad about this too. So, Charge Shot was an AP 16 to give when HP is boosted, gain +1 attack to all friendly units. Now it's a cost of 21, RIP, and give all friendly units when HP is boosted +1 attack. This effect does not stack. So, I think they're implying that you can't Charge Shot twice to give +2.
I don't think you could before. I think they're just adding the text to clarify that, since Choral Orchestra can stack and Denjin can stack. So I think they probably just wanted to make sure that it was noted or something, because I don't think it used to stack before.
No, I don't know if it did. Maybe they should have said Denjin doesn't stack as well. That'd have been nice.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. But this kind of kills the Resonate Charge Shot with X and everything. Because
we had predicted the change to X, and as soon as everybody was probably like, yeah, that's probably what they're gonna do. And as soon as that came out, I was like, well, then Charge Shot won't be as scary because Mega Man was just such a good card for that. But now, like I said, he's not going to buff himself while he does that unless you have the 2 Mega Man out there. And still, they're not going to spiral out of control as fast. So you don't have to Charge Shot as badly, but this is like a nerf as if X didn't change. That's how they didn't need to nerf both. I would have been okay with this going to 19 to 18.
Yeah, I would have been fine with that.
I think 21 is, I think it's done.
I think we think X is done.
Yeah.
Heart Tank is not really good. Just go with Shield Spire.
Yeah. And Gaia armor is just not worth it. It's too expensive.
Gaia armor is so not worth it. They're better off actually changing Gaia armor to be cheaper and does more for Veil. Yeah. But
well, like I said, I mean, my suggestion, because I have always believed that Veil is a broken mechanic. I think that it's too powerful. And that's why there's very little Veil out there.
I thought that too. I remember thinking that too when I first saw it. I was like, oh man, Veil is amazing. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then I remember having Veil units and Black just popped them. I was like, wait, how'd that happen? Because Black has destruction that doesn't target. I was like,
right. Oh god. Yeah. The freaking like what was it? The William Birkin or something destroys one card and destroys another card. You know. But I've always wanted them just to make it so that, you know, the Veil that's on all the cards right now is called like Heavy Veil. And what Heavy Veil does is you can't target your own units. So you can only buff them with non-targeted stuff like heal all your units kind of thing. And so that kind of balances out Veil, and then you make Gaia armor so that it targets one unit but gives them true Veil that you can buff, you know, so you get to do kind of cool things. Lower the AP so it's not all 3 units, and that way now you can create this totally scary single unit. And it's not like you don't feel like it's wasted if you don't have 3 units to Gaia armor all of them, you know?
Yeah.
And that way you can buff D a little bit. You can buff a couple of other cards that do have the Veil. You might be able to put more Veils in there because now it won't be as broken. But at the same time, I guess that's not going to... I mean, that's my idea. Probably never going to happen, but that's my idea for making Gaia armor a little bit stronger. But
they'll have to come back to it. Like, I don't know.
At this point, I can't... I've lost the argument with the Thirsty Games now that X is deleted basically at this point. So,
I mean, I've listened to Thirsty go on about it and explain everything, and I'm like, I have to agree with him. Like, he makes the solid points. The facts are, and when they introduced Shieldspire, and I was just like, yeah, I think Heart Tank is useless now. That was my first reaction. Was like, I think Heart Tank is useless.
Poor Heart Tank, man.
Poor Heart Tank. It was cool for 7 HP, but like that's all it did. It needed to do more. And here comes Feline with like, hey, I'll give you 3 HP and I'll add Besieged so that you can't take damage from units with 3 attack or less. And it's just like, wow, that's busted.
Yeah, I like Thirsty's idea that Heart Tank should maybe give 5 or 6, but then also give it auto heal. You know, so you might be able to get more off of it or something like that. But that could also be dangerous. I mean, giving a unit that has that much, like buffing a unit to give it that much more HP and then auto heal it is kind of scary. But would actually make Heart Tank worth it. It would definitely make it worth it.
It would totally make it worth it. If it's gonna buff its HP and apply auto heal. Hell, I'd run it. I'll be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll apply it to a really strong unit. It's like, alright, he's got auto heal now, what? Hard destruction to get rid of it.
Yeah. And it's going to be funny, because obviously the increase from 16 to 21 feels like it kind of deletes Charge Shot. But weirdly enough, the next hero art change, the Rakoha, going from 16 to 22, I'm not sure that's enough of a nerf.
Well, let's move on to Rakoha. Let's check this out. Alright, so Rakoha, final change. 16 AP. Memory at 4 was deal 7. Sorry, deals 4 damage. At memory 4, deal 7. At memory 10, deal 12. Broken. After, now it's 22 AP to deal 4 damage at memory 4, deal 7. At memory 10, deal 12. So it's no longer a cheap move, which thank God it's not anymore. Because it was just so cheap to just go, well, I've only activated 9 spells, but I can still do 7 damage to the field for 16, so let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, especially, you know, you bounce 1 card, and then there's only 1 card left with 7 HP, and then you're just like, bye, you know, and it's like, this Rakoha. And again, you know, the ironic thing about it, too, is that I'm not even sure if Rakoha was broken. I really think it's the memory mechanic that was.
It was the memory mechanic that kind of just busted it. Like, this in a way does delay Rikoha, like, because there's I've seen some games where like the matches were so close with Rikoha at 16, and literally it was just because he had 16 AP to fire off a Rikoha and already 10 to do 10 damage to get the field, and like if it was 22, he wouldn't be able to do that. That would give the other person time to really push against him. I think it's going to change up how Rikoha is played, at least.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing about it is, because it's 22, and, you know, Rikoha decks are the crazy memory bouncing, you know, just do as much memory as you can. A lot of those cards are only 1 MP. And so you have this deck full of 1 MP cards, so the total amount of AP you can build up is actually pretty low. So theoretically, making it 22 is going to hurt it a lot, but I'm not convinced yet. But I mean, we saw what happened with Yawn putting it to 20, and now nobody uses Yawn at all anymore.
No,
so,
it's kind of sad on that. Like, you might catch your occasional Yawn players, but
yeah,
not as much as it used to. So, it could still be played because you're twitting on 22 AP. That means you're still building up memory for Maverick for the squad. You're still building up memory for the squad to come out. Yeah. So I think it could still be played, but it's definitely going to change Rikoha to people.
Yeah. Hopefully, because I mean, right now at the end of this season, I mean, even in the Grand Prix and stuff, I've every time I play on ladder, it's like 4 out of 5 Rikohas right now. And it's like,
you did not see my stream when I was doing my GP run, and I went across 6 different Rikohas to do my GP, and I had to do my GP 3 times. In my 3rd GP, I went through 3 Rikohas, and I'm pretty sure it was the exact same person 3 times.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm not putting that video up because I was too salty. I went over the footage and I was like trying to work. I'm like, I'm too salty as hell. I refuse to put this up. I will put my part 3 up when I'm not playing the deck. I'll play a different deck.
Hey, look, Vin, you're talking to the right guy. Trust me, I have so many salty videos out there on the internet. Trust me, I know what it's like to have salty videos out there for ready distribution.
I don't mind sometimes if it's hilarious, but I don't think I was hilarious enough for it to be sold. I'm like, I don't feel like it was good enough for that salty humor. So,
oh man,
we're all good. All right, I think that's about it. Really, there's some other stuff they've announced, but people can read that in their own time. There's some changes to some stuff with cards and stuff like that. I think I was sort of going over it, but those are the main changes. I'm excited. Specifically to try this green-black deck now with Pandemonium.
Hey, if you find something good, let me know. If I find something good, I will let you know. 100%.
All right, good. That's the plan right now. We got to build this Pandemonium deck.
Awesome.
All right. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for watching. Have a nice day. Enjoy yourselves, and thank you again, Chen. Much appreciated,
yeah,
dude.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for having me.
Love it, man. Love it.
All right.
Cheers, guys. Peace out. Bye.